All right, let's just dive right into it. All right, hello, ladies. I am here with another video. And I have my tea because I do plan to spill the tea today on this particular topic. You know, I'm very passionate about this topic because I feel like a lot of younger women are being led astray. The world will always lead you astray. And that's not just because, we're bad people or we have bad hearts or we're evil. It's just that we know the Bible tells us that our hearts are deceitful. And so sometimes we develop thinking and ideologies that don't align with God's will for our life. And people think the Bible is like a bunch of rules when really it's not. It's really a history book, stories, lessons that we're supposed to take. Some directly given through God and some through his disciples. But this is not to get all spiritually deep because your journey with God is a personal journey and you have to decide what is best for your life. There's no one that can convince you to stop doing something or to do something. That is really your decision. And that's the journey that we all have had to take in womanhood. But I want to talk about submission because I have a new series coming in my private Patreon for wives and also for girlfriends. I'm thinking about doing the girlfriend one separate, but then I was like, no, there are girlfriends and fiancés in my private group because the group is open to all women who are married, engaged, or in serious relationships. It's for you to learn some things that, some of us had to learn the hard way. I'll come back when the first webinar goes live in my private group for girlfriends and how to display the qualities of a good woman, because you're not trying to impress a man to marry you. Like, that's not what dating is about. When I was dating my husband, it was not some game to get to impress him so much that he would fall to one knee and ask me to be his wife. I just loved him. And as I say I loved him, he's coming in. I can hear him coming in the door from work, which he's locked out. Hold on. All right, I'm back. So I posted a controversial Instagram post. I say it's controversial because, of course, there's always going to be people that see my page says femininity, traditional values, and faith, yet they will still follow my page for some reason as though I'm going to give them some worldly advice when I'm not. But the post was, I'll put it up somewhere on the screen. It was basically saying, we don't submit to boyfriends. You don't submit to a boyfriend. Now, anyone who has actually read their Bible, they know this. They know that this is the principle. And I'm not going to get into scriptures in this video. I'm not your pastor. I'm not trying to Bible thump you. I will leave references in the description box to where you can go read the scripture for yourself. And understand that anytime anyone tells you anything about submitting to a boyfriend, well, they are telling you to go against God's will. That's pretty much what they're telling you. The Bible does not tell us to submit to boyfriends or fiancés. The Bible tells us to submit to husbands. Furthermore, I don't think that we have been taught appropriately as women what the concept of submission is. And we can call it a lot of different things. You can call it catering to your man. You can call it respect, because really it is all those things. But I won't go into that here. I will go deeper into that into the private, when I'm in the private Wifey for Lifey group. You can join. I'll leave a link because this is where I'm going to host these webinars. But I want to talk directly to young women today because I don't want you to destroy your life thinking you're supposed to be catering and submitting to your boyfriend when he has not made a covenant with you and you have not made a covenant with him. There are certain responsibilities that we are not called to do as boyfriends and girlfriends. When I was dating my husband, did he pay for most things when we went out to eat and stuff like that? And he was the one that had the car and I didn't have the car. We were young. Yes, he did. But he was not obligated to do those things. He was not my provider as a boyfriend. Okay, but I knew he was smart, he was intelligent, I knew he came from a good family, and I knew how generous he was with me When he went on trips, he would bring me back gifts. He was always really giving. Money was never really like, no, I'm not paying for that. It was never an issue. So I could see that he was going to be a very loving, providing husband because he displayed those qualities freely, not because I demanded it. Because he was not my husband. I cannot demand anything. And I know a lot of women, a lot of Jezebels are teaching y'all that, you know, men are supposed to pay your rent and they're supposed to do this and they're supposed to do that. And there's nothing wrong with them doing that. If a man chooses to do that for you, nothing wrong with that. But to tell women that that is like the requirement for your boyfriend is very destructive and very Jezebel-like. And you know, what I want to say is a man is going to do those things freely for you because he loves you. That's not going to buy you into marriage. You know, you could drop it like it's hot every day of the week. You could have 4 babies. It's still not going to make a man marry you that doesn't want to marry you and that truly does not love you. Men cannot, well, let me say this. Masculine men cannot be forced into anything. Okay. I can't force, even now, 15 years later, I can't force my husband to do anything. Can't force him to do anything, okay? Doesn't matter how good it is, all right? I don't care how good I put it on him. He is not going to do something that goes against his morals, his beliefs, his character, and what he thinks is right for us as a couple, and even morally what he thinks is right, okay? There's no type of sex that I can provide to him that is going to make my husband compromise himself. And I think this message that women put out here like, oh girl, you know, you got it like that. You know, you could control a man with your body. You can control a simp with your body, okay? And yes, men are highly sexual, and so are some women, you know, some more than others. And you know, you can use those things to your advantage, but if you're talking about a high quality man, that's not it, ladies. That's not gonna work. So this idea that you're supposed to submit to boyfriends, even separate from a religious perspective, but we can't separate it because submission is a religious ideology, okay? It's for Christians. So I want to say that, and I have a post on Instagram about that too, so you can go read that. So I want to talk about, so if you ask me, you know, okay, so what do I do as a girlfriend to show that I'm cooperative, I'm caring? Because you're not supposed to be showing him you're submissive. That sounds very demonic to me, a man telling you, show me your submissive qualities and I will marry you. That sounds very, very strange to me. It's not. You're not in the shop, babe. My husband is walking around. He just got from work. Should your boyfriend lead you is the first thing I want to address is should your boyfriend lead you? Your boyfriend absolutely should be a leader, okay? But let me explain to you in the ways that he should be leading. You know, your boyfriend should be a leader in some ways, but not in the same ways that a husband is, okay? A husband has a godly covenant with you as a wife. You guys are essentially in a contract, okay? You're in a contract with God. You're in a contract with God. It's an invisible contract. You can't see it, okay? So you're in a contract with God, and if you're married legally, which is what we advocate for here on Wifey for Lifey, you're in a contract with the government, unfortunately. Do I agree with that? No, personally, I don't think the government should be involved in marriage. I'm going to be honest. I don't think you should have to go to the courthouse to get married. I really don't. But unfortunately, because of our sinful natures and because women and men like to abandon their families and change their mind, there were provisions that daddy government had to put in to protect us. And that's a different story. But when you're in a covenant, when you're in a legal covenant with a man, he is required by God's word to lead, to cover, to provide, and to protect. Now, does a boyfriend do those things for the woman he loves? Does a fiance do those things for the woman he loves? Absolutely. But he is not required to. That is a covenant that you do not have when you are a boyfriend and girlfriend. Okay? So we need to be clear about that. Are there ways to develop yourself to be a virtuous woman, a woman of character, a woman of grace? Absolutely. And I will have a webinar about that in my private group. So join that group. But a boyfriend is not in this type of covenant with you. So how can you allow your boyfriend to lead if you are a woman that you submit to God first, because you can't submit unless you submit to God, which is also another video. I'm going to do a post on Instagram about this. What I realize is why people can't understand submission, and why a lot of women can't understand submission, is because you don't submit to God. You don't submit to God, there's no way you can submit to your husband. Same thing for your husband. Your husband can't submit to you sometimes in love, because he sees, oh, my wife is upset about this, my wife needs this, or my wife is right, oh, her idea is right, like I'm not doing the right thing. The reason couples cannot submit to each other, because even as Christians, we're called to submit to the world, we're called to submit to our brothers and sisters and help people. And you submit to your boss every day. How dare you say you won't submit to a man? You submit to a man, go up to your boss's office and tell him off. Would you do that? Okay, you submit when you go to the store, and we're required to stand in line. People submit every day. So this idea that I'm not submitting to nobody. We submit every day to police officers, to the government. We have to live in this world. We have to submit. So everyone has to submit, but there's a special bond that a husband and a wife has, a certain interaction that you really need so that you can walk in your feminine nature as a woman and feel protected and loved and covered. And there's a certain respect that your husband needs to have so he could really walk as a leader and as a spiritual leader and as a man that can handle the pressures of life. But this is not what you have with your boyfriend. You're building up to this point if you're doing things in the right order. All right. So how should your boyfriend lead? Well, your boyfriend should lead in character. Okay. He should be a man of character. You shouldn't be catching him in lies. Right? Your boyfriend should be leading in godliness. Okay. He should show you, I honor God. I respect God. Even if he's not some super religious, read his Bible every night. This needs to be a man that reverences God, because if you're dealing with a man that does not reverence God, I pray for you if you marry this person. I really pray for you. And this is not even a joke. I feel sorry for you if you marry a man that doesn't reverence God, because there is no way possible that he is able to operate in a marriage where he is going to be able to bend to your needs sometime and say, okay, this is the best thing for my marriage. Oh, you feel this way? There's no way you can do that if you don't submit to God first. Okay. So godliness is something that he should be leading in. He should be supporting your talents, your dreams, your visions. He should be the person that's leading you in the way of being the best version of yourself. Okay. And you should be building that bond of kindness, love, trust. And you should go to him for all the advice. I mean, when you need advice about something, your boyfriend should be the first person you call. I got this job interview, and I love this new company. Do you have any tips, or whatever? He should be, whatever his expertise, whatever he's really good at, he should be the person that you turn to for advice, for support, and for all of these things. That is submission. That is submitting your trust to know that I can come to you. I trust your advice. I think you're wise. I think you make good decisions. That is a part of submission, ladies. That's a part that you can participate in that does not go to the extent of covenant in marriage. Okay. And he should be leading the direction of the relationship. Okay. I didn't drop to my knee and propose to my husband, even if I was at a point where I was like, I'm ready to get married. And I was ready to get married. By the time my husband asked me, I was ready. He was already my husband in my heart. And my heart, very shortly after meeting my husband, which I don't really advise this in today's society, but if I'm going to be honest about the chemistry, because it wasn't love, it was the chemistry that I was feeling with him when I first fell in love with him. It really wasn't love yet. It was chemistry. I realize that now. But looking back, I would have married him probably within the first 6 months. I mean, he was just such a good guy, and we had such great chemistry in every aspect. And he really showed that he was committed to the relationship and that I was important. And it was really a new experience, and it was so exciting, and it was so fun. And I think that sometimes we let our emotions get the best of us, but sometimes you have to lean back, and the man really should be directing the direction of the relationship. And why would you submit to a man that's leading you to bed? Okay, I'm not saying that people don't have premarital sex. We know premarital sex is a sin. And we know we don't need to get into a lifestyle where we're having a bunch of premarital sex. It is what it is. You know, if you're in that lifestyle, that's not what God wants for you. So you know you need to get married. Because why are you having sex with someone you don't want to marry anyway? You know, why are you having sex with someone that this is not who you want to spend your life with? If you get pregnant, you're like, oh my gosh, I got pregnant. It's so risky, okay? The behavior of people in today's society, from women and men, is so risky. And you may want to get married, and you may feel, if I cook for him, if I, give him my body, if I do this, there is nothing you can do to convince a man to marry you. Do not believe this. Do not believe a man telling you got to be submissive to me before I know you're my wife. That is a fool, okay? That is a fool. And the man should really be steering the direction of the relationship. You shouldn't be dropping hits every 5 minutes that you want to get married. He doesn't want to marry you, boo. He doesn't want to marry you. You shouldn't have to every year after year. You've been together 5-6 years, and there's been no talk of moving your relationship into a holy matrimony. Well, that's a problem. And you can submit, but you're not submitting. I listened to a video, and the girl really hit the nail on the head. She said, when you submit to a man outside of marriage, you're not submitting. Submitting is for married people. Submission is for married people. What you are doing is obeying, okay? So don't get it confused. If you are submitting, catering, giving honor to a man as though he has placed a ring on your finger and made a commitment with God and the state, if we're going to be honest, you're obeying, you're not submitting, because submission is for married people. All right, so I will have a series about dating leading to marriage, how to carry yourself as a woman, things I learned, things I did right, things I might have done wrong as well when I was dating. And I will be doing those webinars in the private Wifey for Lifey group. So I will leave a link to my group, and I will come back when the first webinar is scheduled. After the webinar is done, I probably will have digital uploads that you can purchase separately if you don't want to stay in the group, but they will be more expensive. Your best bet is to join the group. So that way you can end your membership, come and go as you please, and get the information in the group as opposed to buying the webinar separately, okay? I learned that I can give all of my information all online and think I'm helping people. But here's the thing. People just want to know your business. People don't really want to learn. I'm not going to share my personal research and wisdom and life experience with anybody online anymore. I'm just not doing that. And so if you want to know, well, why aren't you telling us just for free? Because invest in yourself. Invest in yourself, just like I do. I spend a lot of money on equipment. I spend a lot of money on courses, on books, so many things I've spent money on to better myself, and still do. And that's what you have to do as a woman. That's one indicator that you're a high quality woman, not by the world standard, but by what God tells you. You really invest in knowledge, because knowledge is the key. All right, guys, I'm going to go now. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I will see you next time. I have another good topic coming up. Bye.